It's been 8 months since I left Christianity. Having known that my whole life, 35 years, it's all I ever knew. But in leaving, there's an aspect that feels like you're losing. And part of not losing is finding out how to repurpose old muscles in new ways that aren't the same old way, but a new way. I took up the practice of praying with my girlfriend. She'd never prayed before, not anything close to what I knew as prayer. At first, it kind of was a little bit of a meme, and we would, close our eyes before a meal and be, say things they're thankful for or something. Um, but in the process of going through the motions of praying, I realized that the act of praying isn't what it is, and it isn't what I thought it was. It is an opening of myself to something more and asking or thanking, and it isn't a necessary connection between me and a divine being that I am beholden to through a life of servitude, out of necessity, at the baseline, out of fear of burning forever in hell. So, the revitalization of prayer is an act that we can do, because when we go back to that place of prayer, having left Christianity, having left whatever familiar faith that it looked like before, maybe you were taught how to pray, and it was very, maybe at times it felt beautiful, maybe at sometimes it felt robotic. I know for me, I had definitely had a lot of prayers that I would pray out of repetition. I would pray them out of guilt. Uh, the a lot of Christian men struggle with lust and pornography because it's so growing up in the Christian culture, it's very put into your face that your purity is the highest and most important thing that you have to guard. And so we are constantly bombarded throughout our teen years with you can't whack off and don't look at porn, and sex is sacred. You're going to taint yourself if you have sex before marriage. There's this constant reverberation of you are wrong if you step into the wrong way. And whenever I would mess up and look at porn or masturbate or something along those lines, I would pray like the sinner's prayer, or I'd be like, God, forgive me. I felt like there was something now blocking me from God. Um, I would read through like Psalms 51, where David kills his future wife's husband so he can be with her. And he's like, God, my sins are ever before you. There's a lot of journey in the prayer world, and through one lens it can be seen as like, oh God, I can't believe I kept going back to those wells of shame to drink from the waters of regret. But on another hand, I was on a spiritual journey, and all spiritual journeys are worth it. And now, being on this side where I don't have Christ, I don't have the familiar Christianity, I am still in the place where I can pause and I can open myself up and I can be thankful for things. I can be grateful for things, and I can ask for things. Who am I asking? Who am I thanking? I'm Maybe it's above my pay grade. I'm not really sure. And maybe I'm still thanking God. Maybe I'm still thanking Jesus, but I'm not attached to where the thing that's leaving me is going. I'm just being faithful to the thing inside of me that says, "Hey, I'm grateful for my girlfriend. I'm grateful for the connection we have." I hope that I have wisdom as I make decisions moving forward. And I ask, if there is any wisdom to be had, please share that with me, whomever and however I should receive it. There's a beautiful path forward after Christianity, of healing, of love, of seeking, of opening. And though we have taken steps away from the Christian world in which we knew, we can still open ourselves up in very much the same way and have that same spiritual openness and connection of prayer that we used to have as well. There's no shame to still go through the motions of praying. And honestly, sometimes I still pray to Jesus. I'm not mad at him. um, I'm not locked into Jesus like I thought I needed to be. Um, I pray to Jesus. I pray to Inanna. I open myself to dialogue with whatever blessed being would want to be listening to me. Because I went through much of my life with certainty that I knew that only God existed, everything else was a fake and a phony. How can I act now that I know with certainty that something else couldn't be listening or caring about me as well? I choose now on my journey to be open, to be free, to be able to open myself in prayer to whomever and however I choose. Much like in my Christian faith, I was given a set of ways in which it was okay for me to act. And I did as well as I could inside of those boundaries. Now that I have moved away, I am now coming back to those practices with new relationships with myself, so that now when I entertain the thought of prayer, it's no longer attached with guilt or the need to be on the correct side of some, righteous indignation coming down towards me. But rather, I have the freedom to open and the freedom to choose whom I want to talk to, how I want to talk to them, and how I want to speak. In freedom, there is also a level of fear, because how do I know if I'm doing what's right? And I get it. And part of our journey post Christianity is finding out how to connect with that internal spirit inside of us in a way that honors ourselves and doesn't miss the opportunities for growth and healing and true love and true acceptance that we truly deserve. And I think there has been a lot of good that's come from our Christian past, but there is also things that were missed in ways in which we neglected ourselves. And that's the revitalization that we're doing now. We're doing the real work. And we're thankful for the whole journey. And there's no shame up or down. If you want to talk more, you can click the link in the description. I'd love to sit down and chat with you for a 30-minute chat. Look at each other's faces. I'd love to hear your story, hear where you're at on your journey. Please like and subscribe to the video. If you made it this far, I love you. You're doing great. If you haven't made this far, I hate you. Just kidding. If you didn't make this far, you wouldn't know I said that. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Take care.